What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 52, and in this episode, the very first thing we're going to do before I talk about all this exciting news is do really quick shout-outs for awesome Ragin Nation members such as Joe Balanin, Robbie King, Alejandro Sanchez, Isaac Price, Cameron Willingham, Mark Vaughn, David Boynton, Aiden Woods, Andrew Jordan, Alex Pop, and also Reynald Del Bosque. Thanks a lot for your support at the Ragin Nation. I really appreciate all your enthusiasm and excitement for this new and upcoming film in the live-action Transformers film franchise. So let's talk about the big news, and that is Barricade is officially back. Michael Bay posted on his website, michaelbay.com, and this is an official confirmation that Barricade, who was introduced in the very first Transformers live-action film back in 2007, is now back, and he is a new Ford Mustang that has been customized to be a police car, and it looks really, really cool. You should go check it out. Of course, at michaelbay.com, you can download a high-resolution image. And this is really, really exciting stuff because this is an official confirmation from the original source. When we saw all the photos that were floating around on Instagram and all these photos that were taken by people who just happened to be hanging around the area, that was not actually a confirmation. It might be a visual confirmation, but it's not an official confirmation. All the signals were telling us that is actually Barricade, such as the fact that it's a police car that is a Ford Mustang, and also it says to punish and enslave on the side of the car, which means that it's Barricade. Now, some of you are probably thinking, wait a minute, didn't Barricade die in Transformers Dark of the Moon? And you know what, I thought about that a lot, and when you really, really watch the film and think about it, he didn't actually die. He just got his eye shot off, and also the Nest team exploded his leg, but we didn't actually get a visual confirmation of his death. So, technically speaking, he didn't die per se. He just kind of got, got hurt by humans. So maybe he got away, and that is why we're probably seeing him back. Now, this is actually pretty exciting for me because I loved how Barricade was represented in the first Transformers film. He was really, really exciting to see, even though I have no knowledge of him as a character in any of the original series in the past, like the cartoon series. But seeing him transform for the first time, I literally jumped out of my seat when I saw it on the big screen, and it was just a really exciting moment. But the thing is that his character really wasn't done any justice. He got beat down by Bumblebee, and it was a kind of like a half-assed brawl. We didn't get to see a whole lot of it. And then later on he gets away, and then he gets killed in Dark of the Moon. I'm happy that he's coming back. I'm also happy that this is potentially a great opportunity to see the revenge of Barricade on Bumblebee. You know what I'm saying? That's exciting. That gets me really, really excited, actually. There's something that disappoints me, though. Michael Bay can pick from a huge lineup of Decepticon characters. And let's just say in Transformers The Last Night, there's only going to be 6 or 7 Decepticons in the roster of Decepticons that are going to be represented in the film. One of those Decepticons is already one that we already know about, and is Megatron. The other one is Barricade. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit disappointed that, you know what, he could have picked any other Decepticon, but he decided to reuse a character that we've seen in a previous Transformers film. That's kind of disappointing to me. And you know what? I shouldn't be surprised because this kind of thing happens all the time. Think about it. In the Transformers, the first 3 films of Transformers, we saw characters die and come back to life. For example, Blackout died in Transformers 1. He came back as Grinder in Revenge of the Fallen. Brawl died in the first one, and he came back as Desert Attack Brawl in the third one. Bone Crusher got killed in the first one, and he came back in Revenge of the Fallen to kill RC. And then Long Haul died in Revenge of the Fallen, but he came back in Dark of the Moon. And even a human character, Colonel Sharp, died in Transformers 1, and he came back as General Morshower in Revenge of the Fallen, and that's a human character. So you can see where I'm going with this. Michael Bay does this sort of thing, and he doesn't actually take the time to explain how they're back and why they're back. So don't be surprised if there's no explanation as to why Barricade is back. If anything at all, we just didn't see him die in Dark of the Moon, and he's back. So that is the big news for this episode. But in the rest of this episode, I want to talk about some other things that are going on, of course. Well, one of the things that is happening right now is that, of course, they're still filming in Phoenix, Arizona. And today, Friday, is actually day 5 of filming. And we haven't seen that many huge updates, so it's really curious to know what have they been filming. Considering that they've been filming in that same general area and along that stretch of highway for those few days, something tells me that it's a car chase scene, man. It's got to be something really, really exciting. Perhaps an action sequence, and maybe that action sequence being a car chase scene. Well, because there has been a lot of this coverage through people just happening to be passing by, it got the attention of news crews. And then we have Fox 10 Phoenix that posted a little bit of a recap about it, and you can actually check it out on the, I'm going to post a link on the description box below. They talked about recapping the all the filming that has been taking place in the last couple of days. And also Channel 12 News, they got some footage from their helicopter, and they showed they actually filmed a lot of military vehicles along that stretch of highway, and I'm talking about a lot of military vehicles. I'm talking about those military vehicles with the upside down V on the side of the vehicle, which represents that they're Allied forces. So that is really, really curious. It's really, really curious. And just to let you guys know where that filming is actually taking place, well, it turns out that yesterday it was reported and mentioned that they will be filming for another 5 days, and it will happen along a 14-mile stretch of highway of the Loop 303 all the way from Interstate 17 to Lake Pleasant Parkway. Okay? Now that will start tonight, or rather it started today, Friday, from 2 a.m., like this morning. And then they will film all the way to Wednesday until 11:30 a.m. in the morning. So that's what's going on. So essentially they will have been filming for maybe just a little bit over 10 days, or around 10 days in Phoenix, Arizona. And then after that, I believe they're going down to Detroit. I'm not exactly sure where they're going specifically in Detroit, but I'm positive that because it's the city of Detroit, somebody's going to find out where they're going to be filming, and we're going to find out later on. So moving on, the fact that they're filming along this stretch of highway tells us that it's a car chase scene that takes place in a desert location, which is awesome. Once again, I mentioned in one of these previous videos talking about the top 10 places where top 10 locations where I'd love to see the live action Transformers film being filmed. Long stretch of highway in a desert area, desert plain area. My dream has come true. Okay, hopefully they make a big action sequence out of it, because that's what I want to see. All right, now I've been reading all your comments, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube, and you guys have posted a lot of theories. Keep them coming. I love the theories that you have been posting. Some of them are really good, and a lot of them have a lot of thought put into them. You guys have been doing a lot of speculation. Keep them coming, because it really gets everybody talking about it, and there's a lot of great discussion going on. And you know what? I would like to revise my theory. When I saw those Autobots, and then later on in the video I saw those Decepticons rolling out, I initially said that they were rolling out together. Okay, because that's that same stretch of highway. They aren't going very fast, so it looks like the Autobots and the Decepticons are rolling out together, and maybe they're allies. They're working together with these allied forces, these human human military vehicles, and maybe they're working together to fight a common enemy. But now that I've seen more videos of the Transformers rolling out, it appears that they're rolling out separately. Bumblebee, that Jeep, and a Hound, they're rolling out in one shot, and then in another shot you see the motorcycle, you see the Volkswagen van, you see Barricade rolling out together as well. So I would like to revise my theory. I don't think that they're rolling out together. They're rolling out separately, which still means that they're not allied together, okay? So it's probably a car chase of some kind. And what's also very, very interesting about this is that that truck that rolls out between Bumblebee and Hound, we see a human character in there, or rather a human driver. I don't think that we should overlook this vehicle. Just because there's a human driver in it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to transform. After all, this truck is actually rolling out between Bumblebee and Hound. Now I'm putting out more theories out there. If this is just a regular human vehicle, the reason why it is between Bumblebee and Hound is because Hound and Bumblebee are providing protective support for this human vehicle, and this human, maybe he holds some kind of significance, maybe he's an important character that needs protection, you know what I'm saying? And that's why it's the human character is driving between Bumblebee and Hound. On the other hand, if it does transform, the reason why that the human driver is driving that truck is because maybe Isabella Moner and Mark Wahlberg are in Bumblebee, and then Hound is just rare security. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we should automatically overlook this truck and making the assumption that he's not going to be an Autobot. I'm just throwing it out there that he could be an Autobot, but I don't know who, because there aren't any clear visible markings on him to indicate what or who he could be. All right, but anyways, that's just another theory. So let's take another look at Hound. Some people are thinking that that's not Hound. Another bunch of people are thinking that it is Hound. I'm going to say that it is Hound. While it's not an official confirmation, we haven't gotten that yet. We have a visual confirmation, and that is the pinup image from the previous Hound in Age of Extinction matches the pinup image on this Hound. Now, I don't know what kind of vehicle this is. All I know is that it's a Mercedes, like possibly a medical transport of some kind. That's all I know. But don't overlook this vehicle. It is huge. Check out this photo posted on Instagram by DZFTW. Thank you, DZFTW, for taking a photo of this. Look at the size of Hound. That is huge. While it might not be the same size as the previous version of Hound, where he's an Oshkosh tactical defense vehicle, this is still a monstrous vehicle. So I'm still going with this is Hound. And take a look at this Snapchat image that was posted by Isabella Moner on the Transformers Snapchat account. It shows Decepticon kills, and Hound is all about the Decepticon kills. He totally holds the personality where he would actually count his kills. While it does look like very, very little, the fact that it's on there on the truck just has Hound written all over it. So I'm gonna say that that's Hound, and we just gotta wait for that official confirmation from Michael Bay himself. I'm sure he will post that image soon on his website. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this vehicle. This is also posted by DZFTW on Instagram. And now this is really, really curious, okay? This is a vehicle, a truck rather, with a whole bunch of junk on its back, on its trailer. And it's a significant amount of junk. I've never seen even a junk removal truck carry this much junk, okay? This is something that stands out. We haven't seen it in any of the other photos except for this one, and this photo happened to be taken around, of course, the stretch of highway where the other Transformers are. So, could this be a Junkion? Could this be an inhabitant of the planet Junkion? Could it be wreck-gar? I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of people are saying it's wreck-gar just because there's a lot of junk on this vehicle. He could be a Junkion. So, the Junkions were not sided with Autobots or Decepticons. They're kind of neutral. So I'm wondering, it's a very significant looking vehicle and it really stands out. It's got to be part of something. But the plot thickens and I can't say much more than that. It's just really curious to see where this is all going. All right. Now, I want to tell you something that I'm really happy about so far. It's only been day 5 of filming, and there's more filming days to go on. Something I'm really happy about is that we have not seen a single European exotic sports car. We saw so much of that in Transformers Age of Extinction, and it was kind of a letdown because of the fact that we never really got to see them so much as cars. They were just, you know, human-made KSI robots all the time. And it was, you know, like, we saw these cars, a lot of these cars are personal favorites from a lot of fans, and yet we did not get to see them really do their car thing. You know what I'm saying? All we got to see them is as human-made villain robots, evil robots, and it was kind of a letdown. So I'm happy that we're not seeing a whole bunch of, and I mean a whole bunch of, European exotic cars, because remember, during the production of Transformers Age of Extinction, there were so many cars to the point where I'm thinking like, this is out of control. Now we're being limited to just a few vehicles, and a lot of these vehicles stand out, and the fact that they stand out really shows us that these vehicles can really play core characters. And by core characters, I'm talking about ones with screen time, ones with dialogue, and ones that actually interact with, whether it be like other robots or humans. But in any case, they will have a certain amount of screen time devoted to them. So that is really exciting, okay? Because I'm getting pretty tired of the exotic supercar scene. It's just too much. Anyways, a shout out to DZFTW for posting these photos on Instagram. And I was reading your comments on YouTube. A lot of you guys been asking, where are the rest of the characters? Where's Drift? Where's Crosshairs? And what about Optimus Prime? Well, you know what? You guys need to relax, because this is only day 5 of filming, and the fact that they're not there is actually a good thing. In fact, it's a really good thing for the story, because this means that the team has been divided. I'm talking about Autobot team, Decepticon team, and once they're divided, that means something else is going on, like in another part of the world or another part of the country at a parallel time, which means subplots. When they go off into, like, when the Autobot team is divided, it means that they need to do something while other characters are doing something else. And by doing that, that means that the story has made itself more complicated. And that means, like I said before, subplots. So we have the Bumblebee and Hound subplot, and then we have the Optimus Prime subplot. And then, I don't know what they're doing with Drift and Crosshairs. Maybe they're not even back. You know, there's a possibility that Drift and Crosshairs might not come back. Look at all the previous Transformers films. Characters have disappeared in the past with no explanation. And you know what? Maybe Drift and Crosshairs, they're hanging out with Tessa and Shane. And there is no confirmation of Tessa and Shane even coming back to this film. So maybe they're just hanging out with them and they have nothing to do with this story. This is the Mark Wahlberg, Josh Duhamel, Isabella Moner story. So I don't know. Drift and Crosshair still can come back, but they haven't reached that part of the filming yet. And that's just a possibility, okay? So, that's all I really have to say in this video. I'm really excited about Barricade being back. I'm also excited for all these other characters. Just to recap on all the characters that we know so far, I'm just going to list the Autobots for you guys. Optimus Prime, which hasn't shown up yet. Bumblebee, Hound, as this new vehicle, maybe this Jeep, and maybe Drift and Crosshairs are going to come back. So that already leaves us with, I believe that's six Autobots, okay, potentially. Now let's list all the Decepticons. So Megatron is back. We don't know what he looks like. We got Barricade. We got the Volkswagen van. We got that heavy-duty tow truck and a Confederate 61 motorcycle. Now, as for neutral characters, we got wreck-gar. Possibly that could be wreck-gar. But that's all I can think about right now. And so far, I think that this is a decent amount of vehicles. There's most likely gonna be more, believe me. They've only started filming in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a lot of Detroit filming. There's Iceland filming, Northern Ireland, possibly, and also London in the UK. All right? Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is some stuff that isn't exactly related to any of the robots. Let's talk about the cameras that they're using, and it looks like, based on this Snapchat photo, they're using non-IMAX cameras so far, and I actually tweeted at IMAX Corp to ask them, hey, any word on if Michael Bay is going to be shooting in IMAX or any IMAX information? Well, they said so far there's no confirmation, but if it changes, there will be a big announcement. And that could very well happen later on. Maybe Michael Bay has plans to shoot in IMAX just for not these sequences yet. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that it's going to have an IMAX DMR, which means a digital media remaster. So essentially they might have filmed it in non-IMAX and then digitally remastered it for an IMAX presentation. And if they do that, that's cool, but I would actually prefer they shoot at least one sequence with IMAX cameras. That would be great. Hey, what do you guys think of the Snapchat that's going on right now? Isabella Moner is, of course, taking over the Snapchat account for the Transformers, last night, and originally, I thought it was a bit of a misfire because there's a lot of stuff she could be filming that we would love to see, but she's not allowed to film it. So because of that, a lot of the stuff isn't really that exciting. But if you watch some of that stuff, it kind of gives you some hints as what could be happening. First of all, there was this shot of Jarryd Carmichael at the Phoenix, Arizona set, which means that he's part of that subplot. Another thing is that it appears that Mark Ryan is back. Now, they blurred out his face. They didn't blur it out. They actually put this cartoon thing on his face, but that to not identify them. You don't know if this was really Mark Ryan, but I recognize that voice. That totally sounds like Lockdown, and it's possible that Mark Ryan is back to voice a character. We just don't know who. And that is really about it. So keep on following the Transformers Snapchat, and keep on following me because there's a lot to talk about. This is only day 5. There's going to be way more exciting stuff. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been watching this web series. This is the Road to TF5, and of course, it's a web series where we talk about Transformers last night. If you followed me from the very beginning, from my Dark of the Moon updates, thank you very much. If you followed me with Age of Extinction, thank you very much. And if you're just starting to tune in to follow these updates for Transformers last night, thank you to you guys. I really appreciate all your support because, you know what? I originally did this just to gather information and present it. And I thought it was exciting, but I didn't know that it would get such an overwhelming response. Right now, there's so many of you guys that support me, and I'm really, really overwhelmed by this response. So thank you so much. Really appreciate everything. I've been reading all your comments. You guys have been awesome. And I think that, you know, to end it, I'm just going to give a shout out to Transformers Fan 5000. He showed me a really awesome stop motion video, Transformers stop motion animation video. I'm going to leave you a link in the description box below. Go check it out. He did some really awesome voice acting work, and I think that you know, I really want to give back to the community by showing you guys that there's some really great Transformers fans out there that put the work in and put in the time to really make some really cool content. So thanks a lot for all your support. Keep on watching. I'm going to give you more updates. What do you guys think of Barricade coming back, and who do you think that potential Junkion is? Do you think it's just a truck driving by, or do you think that that's an actual Junkion? We got a lot to talk about, but let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. If you want to tweet at me and you want to if you want to communicate with me, I actually am more proactive on Twitter. So make sure you tweet at me, and I will tweet right back at you at my next earliest convenience. So that's all I gotta say. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Parts of the UK, specifically London, and also various parts of the United States, Detroit, Chicago, and I think